Yes.
You know, he has already said you made mistakes, that you had a lot of power, that General Museveni allowed you to do the right thing, and that you misread the mind of General Museveni.
So where did I misread?
Well, he, for instance...
You see, you can't just say that one. You must relate it to what is in the Constitution.
He, for instance, says that the term limits, that you should have made it an entrenched provision which you didn't do. How do you respond to that, Professor?
You people. Don't you read?
Because he says if you had, there is no Museveni would have lifted term limits. That maybe you had a lot of...
I always remind you, Jesus Christ, who is a God, in his wisdom, asked Judas Iscariot to be his disciple. Did Jesus make a mistake? To make him his disciple?
Certainly no.
Why? Because he betrayed him.
He betrayed him.
So Museveni betrayed all of us. Let me tell you why we didn't double entrench. But what we even double entrenched, he removed.
What?
We double entrenched the fact that the president should only have 2 limits of 5 years each. I am the one who put it in.
Yes.
And we insisted it should be there. Museveni praised it. Why doesn't Tamale talk about Museveni who removed it? Term limit 5 years. We double trenched it. Nobody could ever remove it.
Okay. We
entrenched the Kabaka and the traditional ruler shall be governed by tradition. No law. They removed that. It was double trenched.
Professor, it was removed at what stage? During the CAO or after?
Pardon?
They removed it at what stage?
They removed it in 2005 when they amended the constitution. They also amended the constitution in 2002. They removed what was already entrenched. I am saying to everybody, including you, unless we go back to the 1995 constitution, everything is gone forever. I have never accepted any amendment to the constitution. I've never been part of it. So Mirundi, you tell him to read, but come and meet me. He's telling lies.
Okay. Professor, some people have suggested...
Should we have trenched? No. Should we have trenched that every human being should breathe? That the breathing should be entrenched. Should we have entrenched it?
If you had known the person...
No, I said, should we have entrenched it?
He says you should have. That you
I am talking to you, not to him. You.
Yes, Professor.
Should we have entrenched that everybody breathes?
You don't have to. You didn't have to do that. Because it's a given.
Because it is natural.
It's natural.
The idea that there should be time limits was accepted by everybody, including Museveni.
At that time.
Nobody. You legislate for something which is controversial.
It was...
We legislated for women 10 years. We legislated for the president should have term limit. But that he should have a term limit was unanimous. You don't entrench something which is unanimous.
So you never anticipated anybody ever thinking of
nobody.
Touching. It was unthinkable.
Not even Museveni thought it was unthinkable.
Do you think General Museveni was genuine at that time, or he knew what he intended to do 10 years later?
How can you go into man's mind? You know what I'm thinking now? You don't know. We didn't know, but we believed him. We believed that he would never change the constitution, which, you see, you people, let me tell you a problem. You don't have a reading dictionary.
Yes, Professor.
And you are not patient enough. If I tell you that when we finished making the 1995 constitution, Museveni stood up in front of everybody, including foreign dignitaries, including the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, and they said, Ugandans have made the best constitution. And I will go into the bush once more if anybody should tamper with it. Why don't you dwell on that one? The Kanyeihamba made a good constitution, Museveni tampered with it. Instead of listening to Tamale. I have challenged him to have a conversation like this one. He doesn't come. Those I send where they fear him, they don't give him the message. He's a Museveni apologist. God made me a wholesome being. But now you have seen I'm in a wheelchair because I ate badly. I ate a lot of sugar. When
in your youth,
then can I blame God? How can Tamale, who I think is very reasonable, blame those who made the constitution, which Museveni changed? That they are the ones. Tell me. Because you are younger people. Supposing we had a French, we said, it will never change forever. What do you think would have happened?
at least General Museveni would have retired by
Thank
now.
he would have changed it. He said Museveni shall never appoint anyone a judge without recommendation of the Judicial Service Commission. Look at the Butera,
The deputy CJ?
Deputy CJ.
Yes.
He appointed him without the authority or recommendation of the Judicial Service Commission. You are accepting him as Deputy Chief Justice.
Is that possible, Professor?
Eh?
Is that possible?
But it is, what is the problem with you, man? He is now the Deputy Chief Justice, President Museveni, without consultation or recommendation of the Judicial Service Commission, and we are accepting him. Why do you see this is not so?
You know both of them, so why do you think he's interested in
The
him?
Chief Justice was recommended, but I'm not the Deputy Chief Justice. That's what I'm telling you.
And I'm asking, you know both of them, Butera and General Museveni, why do you think he's interested in him being DCJ?
You are not a journalist, are you? Really, we should ask him that wasting time. Don't you know why?
I don't know.
Because he's supposed to be unquestionable. If he says change the constitution, he changes it. If he says take him to jail, he says him. That's why he's supposed to. Yeah, you don't know.
Professor, you know better.
No, I don't know better. I know everything. Uganda knows, even you know, but you don't want to say so. You are a coward.
Okay.
You want things to come from my mouth.
So, Professor, I'm sorry. I'm really fascinated by history. You played the
You are not interested in history. If you are listen, please. If you are interested, you would know why Museveni appointed Butera without the authority of the Judicial Service Commission. You would know. You don't know history.
Can I learn history now from you who knows?
Where are you learning now?
By asking the following question.
You ask another question.
Sir, you really played a very big role in the constitution.
But we have already said that. Why do you continue like a parrot repeating yourself?
I'm looking for
you said at the beginning, you ask questions without reference. You play the big role. You play the big role. You are not a parrot.
I'm looking for history, sir. I'm looking for history.
Those who look for history, they repeat themselves.
Yes, for clarity, for clarification, sir.
What is it that is not clarified for you?
Can I ask?
That I haven't played the big role?
Can I seek clarification?
No.
Sir?
The question you have asked, you have repeated again. Said you play the big role.
Because
you don't understand that?
Because I'm
no, excuse me. You don't understand that.
Because I'm
please be intelligent.
Yes, I'm being intelligent.
No, you are not.
Clarification.
Excuse me. You go. If he's going to challenge me, an intelligent person doesn't ask questions several times. Repeat himself. You play the big role. You play the big role. You just say it at the beginning. And I internalize from the beginning. You know, I played the role. So why do you paraphrase your question? You play the big role.
For the record. For the record, he says that bad.
Excuse me, I don't have time for the record.
Okay. Okay. So can we move forward, sir?
Move forward. That's what I'm trying to say.
Very good, Professor. You are indeed a professor. Let's move forward.
Was that in doubt?
It wasn't.
Then why do you have to hear us indeed?
Okay, so can I Professor, I would like to ask you about the current situation. We are months into the campaigning period, and many Ugandans seem to be aggrieved with the way the process has gone so far. Are you surprised?
Are they?
People are
Are they
aggrieved.
aggrieved?
They are aggrieved.
Who aggrieved, that's what you
Yes.
said, aggrieved.
No,
Yeah,
aggrieved.
they aggrieved, yes.
Yes. Has anything specifically surprised you with this process so far?
No.
The campaigning process?
Nothing has surprised me since we opposed removal of term limit or age limit.
Yeah.
I talked to Parliament about it. I wrote about it. I pleaded with the President not to remove them,
Yes.
and he did. And those who opposed, including Bitan Sari, Miriam Matembe, his great friend, Elia Katega, Isaac. So what shall I do? Anybody who opposes himself in Nigeria but has no one to write is his enemy. So why should I be supplying?
Okay, the performance of Chairperson Justice Byabakama as Chairman Electoral Commission, has he met your expectations in any way?
Tell me, what kind of people does Museveni appoint to office since they changed the constitution? What kind of people does he agree to appoint to bigger offices of government? Because I assume you are an intelligent journalist, so you should answer my question, otherwise I will not answer yours. What kind of people does he appoint?
People who might be loyal to him, loyalists.
No, Taro. Can you ask me to be loyal to have my daughter raped? People have frightened of him, so that even when they know he's wrong, they will do his bidding. Those are the people he appoints.
Okay. So you didn't expect anything better from your fellow judge, Justice Byabakama Simon?
If I was Byabakama Justice, and I allow Museveni people to come and support him, the police keep aside, the army keep aside, they salute him. And the candidate Amriat comes, and the police beat him, those who are supporting. Support, refuse those who support Chagulanyi to go to the venue. When the shepherd, those who support Museveni to the venue, have to resign immediately. All these commissioners should resign. If Chief Justice proposed to me, as he did to the chairman of the Judicial Service Commission, that justice in Nigeria is corrupt, and he steals files from the judiciary, and they keep him a judge, I would resign and expose. If justice Devashish Andrew is corrupt, and all corrupt lawyers go for them to write their judgment, and he awards billions and billions of shillings, I was either the Chief Justice or I was the Chairman of the Judicial Service Commission, I would resign. Further, I bet they are intimidated or they themselves benefit from corruption. You don't have to be a journalist to make that conclusion, or to ask Kanyeihamba in order to stop putting it in any other report.
Professor,
Twice, when I was Minister of Justice Attorney General, I offered her to resign, and it is on record. Museveni persuaded me not to. One was when we had agreed that ministers, permanent secretary should never be arrested and jailed unless the Attorney General is satisfied that there was sufficient evidence. When I was in China pursuing better trade as Minister of Commerce, I came back and some politician had been arrested without my knowledge. I offered her to resign. Museveni publicly persuaded me to
stay.
Another case, Moses Ali is still alive. He was arrested, and the mother took somebody else. In my absence, I was Attorney General. When I called for after my resignation, he refused. He released those people, and they paid compensation. That is what conscience and integrity means. I think the president said, "You were wrong." Yeah. So, Mr. President, yes, I was wrong. Even when you are not right, in order to stay in the office, you have no guts. The chairman of the Election Commission, the chairman of the Judicial Service, they don't have guts. They may be honest, but they are not principled. Museveni can't come and they can't. And the people say, you see, he was there as president. And we know he's in campaigning. He wants people to vote for him. He will put the news. And say, yes, I accept your expression. Yes, being president can be rubbish. Sometimes these questions annoy me. Annoy me because they have been asked by people who are intelligent.
We apologize for that, sir.
Any other question?
Well, Professor, you've been a judge of the Supreme Court. You've been a justice of the Supreme Court before.
Yes.
And do you think if anybody challenged this election at the end of that day, do you think they stand a chance of having it overturned?
Did you write? First of all, what did I do in 2001?
You annulled.
I annulled the election.
Yeah.
3 of us.
Yeah.
Sadly, both dead now. Justice Odeh and Justice Sekoko and I was a pillar of the movement, but I said no, this election was not free or fair. You know the story. I've written about it. Then, when I was away, they came up with the judgment. I think I was in India. Of age limit. Only one judge who thinks like me nullified that judge. Who was it?
Justice Kakulu.
If Kakulu had behaved cowardly, he would be the Chief Justice because he's very well qualified and he's from Angola. But he's hated by the movement and everybody because he said the 2016 election was not free or fair. He also nullified the presidential election alone. But let me tell you, the Court of Appeal went to Mbale, led by the President's Chief Justice. Tell me, why did they go to Mbale? Have you journalists ever found out why? No. To hide from you. Most of you would not afford to go to Mbale or afford hotels. So only a few could go there. And they sifted them to make sure those who are pro government went there to witness what was happening. They come up with their reasons and judgment. I made the judgment which you haven't read. I said there was not there. But having heard what the Chief Justice, Deputy Chief Justice said, Alfonso Doro, and the other judges, and the Kakulu, had I been in that court, I would have agreed with the Kakulu that the election was flawed. I rather the amendment was flawed, and we should retain age limit. That time, Doro was Deputy Chief Justice. He led the court in Mbale. If you read what he read, gave his reasons in Mbale and others, they are at variance with their final decision. He said, how can we amend the Constitution when the ink is not dry? It's too early. Let us first test the Constitution, which includes age limit and term limit. But at the end, because he was persuaded by Museveni and others in fear, he dismisses the petition. Now let me ask you, what did he say recently? Now that he's Chief Justice. You don't have a reading direction. He said we made a mistake by removing term limits. Himself today. After he knows he's already Chief Justice, nobody will stop him. This book is a test. I'm going to see how many journalists or Ugandans read it. You have seen these people have taken my vehicle. They are putting 50 in Arts Walk, 50 in Uganda Bookshop, 50 in Catholic Bookshop, the Daughters of St. Paul, and 50 in Mukoni. Come 1 week or two and see how many have been sold. I took 10 copies of my book, The Blessings and the Joy of Uganda. If you see those who go to play golf, they drink on average 50,000 per night, if not more. If you stand other drinks or you are wealthy, like Ivan calculated, go there after me, they can spend 2 million on drinks.
In one night.
My book was 50,000. Only about 3 copies were bought at the club. These are my friends.
150.
Only. The others were not good. But ask him to stand a drink of all his friends who have been golfing with, he can spend 100,000 per night. I have been mourned on Uganda having no reading culture. You are one of them.
I will improve,
You
sir.
are taking a copy. Let me say when you bring the money, 50,000. But if he's got a wedding, you spend almost 1 million on drinks for guests. We don't have a reading culture in this country. Social media is doing much better because people can listen to the radio and so on. How many books have I written?
More than 30.
You had it from me. You didn't find out yourself. Museveni praises me in the book. Mrs. Museveni, I cannot remember. The late Nsimbambi. But the general public know me as an enemy who hates Museveni. And if you love Museveni or you want him to do something, you must show him that you also hate Kanyeihamba. Even if you don't hate me. I didn't ask him, but I asked him, which party do you support? They will never tell you. Because they have a vehicle which has got numbers. My personal one, but the judiciary said, keep your old numbers. They respect you as a former judge. And when they see me, they used to see policemen here. They think I am from Museveni.
Man of the system.
Museveni is a friend of mine. He has saved my life on occasions, but I don't like his politics. He is a dictator, selfish, wants to stay in office until he dies. And unless Ugandans open their eyes, even next election to win. I want Chevron to win. You know that, you have seen this one. But you want to ask him questions publicly to say, I support him, because that is the NRM way of exposing me.
Okay. I see good friend is there. So, Professor, can we ask the next question?
Please ask any question. Don't ask for permission to ask questions. I get irritated. You ask any question you want. You want to ask permission to ask me.
You might be winding up.
There is nothing I add. Never. I don't fear anything. I don't fear any question. Don't say there may be something that is you. not me.
So, Professor, therefore, having known the situation the way it is, would you advise your candidate, Kyagulanyi, to go to court, to petition court after elections, in case something happens and he becomes
married?
aggrieved?
Are you married?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am.
Do you have children?
I do.
I mean,
Do.
I advise you to have 4 children. Okay. Why do you ask me that? I want him to win and to be declared the president. So why do I want him to go to court before the event? My expectation is that he will win and the army will keep quiet and he takes office. So why should I advise him to go to court? But when he loses, come and ask me a question.
But Professor, knowing the caliber, the profile of men and women we have in these courts, would there be justification for anybody to do what Besigye has done twice?
Do what?
Would there be any justification for anybody to do what Besigye has done twice, going to court to challenge the election?
But I'm too intelligent. I'm too intelligent, Pharaoh. You didn't understand my answer.
No,
You didn't.
I didn't, sir.
I said I will not go to discuss court when I want him to win. But if ever he loses, you come and you ask me
cross
that
the bridge.
Now, have we lost? No, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Professor, thank you very much. We would like to leave it at that unless there is some
I
other
don't want to
message.
leave it at that.
Would you would like to add some other?
Yes.
Professor,
if
you are
I
welcome,
say,
sir.
actually, if I say I don't want to leave it at that, they need to tell you, as an intelligent journalist, that I want to add something.
Welcome, sir. Some last word and many of those issues.
What I want to say to your listeners and observers is that often the fault is not in our stars, it's not in Museveni, it's not in Kyagulanyi, it's not in Kizza Besigye, it is in us. I am leader of my people in Rwanda. They even named the hostel Kanyeihamba in my honor. There is a road in our district which they named Kanyeihamba because of the contribution I made for the development of Rwanda. Are you recording?
Nice.
When I go there, I'm no longer a politician, I'm not an active politician, but I remain a politician forever. What is your name, sir?
John.
I said, don't vote Jen. Because he's done this wrong, or he has done this right and right. But if he gives you money, take the money. It is ours. Musoro. He's just paying it back, our Musoro. So you accept as much as you can, whether they call it bribe or not, but vote it the right way. Vote so and so. They do vote that way. Ahabe was minister when he came here to replace me. He promised to build a bridge. There is a swamp across us. He never built it. During election, I came and said, don't give him a vote. He promised to do this, he didn't. And they could see. He went and they gave them Malati houses built in this area, a school. But when it became elections, they took my advice and they didn't vote for him. He came, they gave me my Matagula, gave me my Mabati. They threw stones at him, broke his car. He has never been there again. He never sued again. I am the one who put that provision in the Constitution. Power belongs to the people. of Uganda. For the first 2 terms, we liked Museveni because he was doing the people's bidding. Since he has changed the constitution, he has said publicly, I am no servant to anybody. I work for my program, my mission, namely his family and his friends. You continue voting for me. Why? Why? What kind of people are you? He has even told you, I am not here for you. I'm here for my family. Only 2 weeks ago, he promoted his son, who is not as clever as he is, to be in charge of East or whatever. You look in your agenda, and you continue supporting it. Instead of Chagrin, you say, I work for the same country, and it's not his word. When he goes to Jinja, everybody's up. When he goes to Guru, they are. When he came to Kabale, the whole camp took him. Don't you see that one? Museveni is frightened of him, and he says, I'm going to infiltrate. In other words, put spies on Chigwani, destroy his support. You're listening to that today. But tomorrow, yeah, Museveni, oh yeah. And you think Kanyeihamba, the intelligent, will be with you. No. I don't hide the fact that he could kill me if he wanted, he could, but he respects me. And do you know whom he believes in? Kanyeihamba spoils my politics, but he teaches the nation what to do. It's in the writing.
You spoil his politics, but teach the nation the right thing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Those are Museveni. And you could quote him there. It would be right. What have I done? The country was bankrupt. He made the Minister of Commerce, Better Trade. You see what I did. There was conflict in the Muslim community, tablis against the rest. First soldiers were killed. He sent me there. I made peace. At the Muslim conference, which I read, the national one, with Saudi Arabia, Libya, Kuwait presented, we came up with the proclamation of Islam. I wrote a little book about our proceedings. Muslim crisis in Uganda. It is a textbook at the International University of Islam in Zimbabwe, but many journalists don't even know about it. Ever since then, have been peace. Museveni is a fool. He knows what I do. So when misguided the police arrested me here, they arrested me here, gave me injection to be incontinent, and they took me to a safe house. After making 7 times, sent his own doctor to examine me, and he orders my release. He's clever. I hate him. And when the NRM guy said, yes, for me, I am the president. Who is a fool and who is not? I like him. He is ruled in my life. In fact, I'm going to appeal him last. So they don't pay my money, which took me to India. To find him. I will appeal to the president. And for him, I know he will direct them to pay me. I haven't got there yet.
You still have some hope that something could happen?
Yeah, that I don't have to involve the president.
How much is this, sir? How much money are we talking about?
$12,000. Whether $12,000. Total.
Which is about
my pension, what they call security money, which is in my terms of reference, that when you retire, they will be giving you 1.250 million for your bodyguard.
Per month.
So I pay them when they come here. They have not paid it for 10 years.
Oh. That's over 100 million now.
Yeah. So that's what we are talking about.
This country should be able to afford it to pay.
But how do you afford it? I am a controversial Kanyeihamba. When I talk, do you know Derek? Do you know Derek Chionga?
I know Derek. He's my colleague.
Is your colleague?
Yes.
Call him now when I'm here.
I'm going to.
And you say, Kanyeihamba tells me that you've been preparing your review of his latest book. I've seen it.
I've seen his
How
name
are
in the
you?
book.
Call him.
I've seen
Call,
him.
he's the one who is compiled part of it.
He's a good writer. He's a
So you
prolific
call.
writer.
Yes, you call.
Professor after science.
When I am here, I am saying now. Call him now
Okay.
and talk to him. Pretend you are not here.
Okay.